He came home one day and he was like, "Dad, I know what I want to be when I grow up." And I was like, oh yeah? What do you want to be? He said, "I want to be a white woman." So naturally, my heart started racing. My throat got tight, dry. It felt like I was swallowing rocks. That was not the conversation I was prepared to have with my son. 80%. 80% of special education is Black and Hispanic children, boys, but primarily Black boys. I know I had something similar happen with my youngest, where they tried to do the same thing, which we eventually ended up homeschooling him. They say that Black boys have a behavioral problem. Say that you have a problem with authority figures in the classroom. You know, my son came home, the youngest son that I was telling you about, that they also tried to have him put in special education, or tried to get us to put him in special education. He came home one day and he was like, "Dad, I know what I want to be when I grow up." And I was like, oh yeah? What do you want to be? He said, "I want to be a white woman." So naturally, my heart started racing. My throat got tight, dry. It felt like I was swallowing rocks. That was not the conversation I was prepared to have with my son. So I felt like this was a Dwayne Wade situation. For those of you who know. Those of you who don't, just Google it. That was not the kind of conversation I was prepared to have with my 5-year-old son. So I asked him, I said, "Why is it? Why do you want to be a white woman when you grow up?" He said, "Because there's a bunch of them in school and they have all the power." When he said that, I was a little relieved because I thought it was something else. And I had to explain about why there's so many of them as teachers. But it was hard to explain, because when you sit back and you look at the statistics, I believe this is from the National Center of Education Statistics, women make up 75% of teachers. White people make up 80% of teachers. White women are the overwhelming majority of teachers, public school teachers, K through 12 in the US. And we wonder why our boys are basically being routed into special education. We wonder why, Black males make up 70% of all school suspensions. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out. Think about all these people who are calling cops. What do they call them? Karens. Calling the police on Black men. Some of these women, very same women, are teachers in your kid's classroom. These are the people who generally vote Democratic. They support the teachers union. They supported Obama, and they'll wear the Black Lives Matter t-shirts. They'll tell you that they're your ally until you live in their neighborhood or your son is a student in their classroom. This is what we're facing. And little black girls, they get it, but they don't get it to the extent that little black boys get it. Who will advocate for the little black boy? Black women have amassed, an incredible amount of influence in the party. But how are black women leveraging that influence to impact in a positive way their sons? How is it that black boys are reading at a 4th grade level, but black girls are doing just fine when they're growing up in the same household? That's an interesting question. So it's this frustration. It's this frustration that causes a lot of black men to become jaded with the Democratic Party, because it's starting to feel like a bunch of empty promises over and over again. Look at this. According to the National Center of Education Statistics, 79% of public school teachers are white, 9% Hispanic, 7% black, 2% Asian, 76% female, 24% male. There aren't many black men in the teaching profession or that stay in the teaching profession. I want to ask if, let's say, for example, teachers were, 80% of the teachers were black, 76% were male. And girls in the 8th grade were reading below a 4th grade level. Do you think they would keep the status quo in place, or do you think there would be a complete overhaul?